All right, we're staying consistent around here. You already know. Today, we're going to be talking about Misfits MMA. Now, Mams Taylor, the one that owns Misfits, has been very adamant talking about a Misfits MMA card headlined by Mike Perry versus Dylan Dennis, which would be a really entertaining build-up for a fight. And we'll talk about that matchup in a second. But on the surface, I can understand why UFC MMA fans might not like that idea because they'll imagine like influencers against each other. But honestly, Misfits has a good amount of former MMA fighters on their roster, like the names like Anthony Taylor, like Gabe Silva, HS Tiki Taki, which I think he just did some kickboxing, Baby Hulk, which was on Street Beast, Benson Henderson, former UFC champion, Dylan Dennis, like I said. They maybe could get Logan Paul on his first card. He wrestled, so just being very vague there with that. Paige Van Zant, Julie Polka also trains MMA with boxing, so she could potentially have that fight like Logan with the debut. Chris Avila, even though they had a whole situation on Twitter, so we'll see that. Nate Diaz, maybe. It was looking like he was poking his head in the door, but like I said, Chris Avila had some problems with Misfits, so I don't know. And FaZe Sensei, known as Sensei now, is no longer in FaZe. And names like Erickson Samuel, who fought in Karate Combat, and Amadeus Ferrari, Polish MMA fighter who was so entertaining and funny in the build-up. They need to have him back. Honestly, probably the perfect opportunity for him to come back. So yeah, there's a lot of good names that could potentially do that, but there still is definitely some pros and cons to if this were to happen. Now, some of the pros may include them bringing back names that may not want to box, like Amadeus Ferrari doing stuff like this in his pre-fight in Poland.
Tak naprawdę wszystkie walki prawie się tam kończyły w pierwszej rundzie. Klatka była 3-3, czyli tak naprawdę... Tak jest.
And Dylan Dennis with his tendency to throw things.
No, you don't need to.
No, yeah.
Fight can knock you out.
Yeah, let's do it right now.
Well, right now.
Let's not do that right now.
A little slap.
Yeah, no more. Let's do it.
And we got fighters like Mike Perry that do a Hulk Hogan impersonation.
Finally gonna see me!
I know, you can thank me.
Oh, brother, let me tell you what they're gonna see. Let me tell you what they're gonna see, Michael Perry.
So yeah, there's a lot of room for a lot of good characters in Misfits MMA for sure. And of course, another pro, if they end up doing this well, they could get a whole another community involved, to get some of the MMA community involved that don't really care about boxing, because I do see a good amount of MMA fans just trashing on boxing for no reason. Like, you can't just like both. I don't understand why it's a competition. I just like both sports. So I don't know about that, and I also realized that there is some room for fighters like Anthony Taylor, HS, Gabe Silva. They can fight boxing one card and then MMA another card on the same promotion. So that would be a new thing for sure. There was no promotion that's done that from what I've known, so that would be new. So yeah, like I said, they already have the names that have fought MMA before, some people they could potentially bring in, which could be a pretty smooth transition, but there is a way they can mess it up, and there definitely is some cons to this idea if it doesn't end up being executed right. Now, the first con that they could pull out of this is if they have two influencers that have not fought MMA fighting on the card, even if it is like somewhat big names. I feel like that is very stupid and potentially dangerous. Obviously, you can't play boxing either, but if we have people that can't throw elbows, don't really necessarily know the rules, especially when it's debuting influencers, because how it usually goes for somebody's first fight, half of the camp is getting in shape and in weight, and then not even half of it is them learning. So if we have two influencers in an MMA ring, that would be very, I guess, good on the surface, but it could be very dangerous, and the fights would be very sloppy, and it just wouldn't be a good idea at all, in my opinion. Now, another issue could be them getting already in trouble with gimmicky stuff, like the 2v1s with Fox G and Evil Hero were ruined, and Most Wanted. It ruined a whole main event because Most Wanted didn't walk and had an anxiety attack. And then Evil Hero just quit in a ring, and it ruined like probably the worst Misfits event originally, and then it ruined the whole card even more. So if they were to pull off a Misfits MMA card and it would flop bad, and it ended up being a gimmicky, trashy card, it would tank the reputation. And they really can't have that right now when it's on an uprise, them announcing Slim versus Gibb, you know, them announcing that super card that's going to happen with them. They really shouldn't have it. So they need to make sure that they have this right before they do it, because it could really, really hurt their reputation. So yeah, looking over it, it definitely has potential for more pros. All they have to do is do things right and actually have experienced MMA fighters fighting. And just find a middle ground of former MMA fighters that have good influence that you built on Misfits already, and you could bring some people in. I actually heard some rumors about Bobby Lashley coming in. Now, I don't know who the hell is gonna fight Bobby Lashley, but shit, I'll watch that. That'll be a good co-main event because the name, that'll be cool. But so let's quickly talk about the potential main event of Mike Perry versus Dylan Dennis. So now I like this, especially because the pre-fight build-up. They two different styles. Mike Perry was always known for his scrappy boxing in the UFC. That's why he ended up being in BKFC and ended up being a beast there. Dylan Dennis being a world-class jiu-jitsu practitioner. You know, it'd be very interesting. And Mike Perry got some jiu-jitsu, obviously not on the level of Dylan Dennis, but I think the pre-fight will be amazing. The trash talk will be amazing. Dylan wouldn't have the same subject matter that he had with Logan Paul. But I would really like to see that as a main event of a Misfits MMA card. That's probably as good as a main event as they're going to get with names. I know Mike Perry's been down, and Dylan Dennis also agreed on social media. So I would really like to see that. Really, really would like to. And who really knows? KSI showed some real MMA potential versus Joe Fournier.
Incredible knockout! Wow!
Yeah, so let me know what you guys think about the potential of Misfits MMA in the comments. Let me know if I convinced you, I made you think even worse of it. Let me know what fights you would like to see from the fighters that are already on Misfits. What MMA fighters you would like to see on Misfits and against who. Leave it down in the comments, and leave a like on the video, subscribe, turn on notifications. The first time I said that. And thank you all for always tuning in. Peace out.